Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Album Fight Club. I am here, as always, your host, Mike Kane, and I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Cody Constantine. Cody, how are you?
I'm doing good. Mike. It's fantastic to see you after having an episode without you, which was hilarious.
It was hilarious. There were so many wrong things said by Cody. Just to clear the air, I was not acting in Horror Nights. I'm not even sure what that means. I did go to Horror Nights, though. It was a great time. I go every year. Two, I love emo music. I have no idea why Cody thinks that's my least favorite genre. I actually like it a lot. And in fact, if I can give a mini episode, I actually liked Into It Over It. I listened to it myself. I thought it was great. I had no experience with the band. I actually thought Intersections was better than Standards, which was not what you two guys thought. So I wish I could have been there. Obviously, I could not. And the guest that you had on had a limited time. So I said, just do it with the guest. I don't need to be there. So.
Yeah, as we talked about on the episode, Into It Over It is one of my favorite bands, and maybe Mike and I will do like an addendum episode where we do a brief 30 minutes, like a cool 30 of just like what we like about each record instead of it being song versus song. Yeah, other than that, Mike has a pretty big life update for the people who listen at home.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, but in less than 2 weeks, I will be married. I will be tied down. Sorry, ladies. It's over. I will be locked in, and my life will suddenly be something else, which is one thing about this podcast is that this is actually going to be the last episode of season 2. Now, some listeners may go, I had no idea there was even a season 2, which fair point. But the Beatles episode we did way back when of Sgt. Pepper Abbey Road, if you listen to that episode at the beginning of it, we mentioned this is season 2. The reason I say this is the last episode is because I do get married on the 19th of October. We're currently recording on the 6th. So I'm winding towards that. My schedule is going to become very hectic the closer we get. And then as far as after wedding stuff, I'm not sure how open my schedule will be. It could be a while. It could be not a while at all. So I figured, hey, major life event. Let's just call it the end of season 2.
Yeah, I was very graciously asked to be a part of Mike's wedding, and beyond excited. Not only about Mike's wedding, not only about getting to see some friends, but getting to end this season with one of the most important bands in not only music history, specifically rock and roll history. And that is the legendary, the enigmatic, the forever powerful, the forever fucking balls to the wall, kick ass, fucking whiskey drinking, punch throwing Motorhead.
I was wondering how long you were going to go before you landed on the name.
Yeah, I didn't want to say misogynistic, but I don't want to say womanizing, but then it's like, well, tentatively.
Right.
Yeah,
Motorhead. This was actually an episode I had in mind from the conception of this podcast, which now we're like 30 episodes deep and we finally get around to it. I echo everything Cody says in that this is one of the most prolific, important, major fist throwing, any sort of verbiage you want to use towards Motorhead. But in particular, when you think Motorhead, you really think of Lemmy Kilmister, who was the lead vocalist and bass player of the band. It was only a 3-piece band. I'll actually get into the other 2 members once we start talking about the songs. But when you think Motorhead, really what you think of is Lemmy, who was one of the most infamous frontman of all metal music, one of the most, just a cool dude. Just if you ever look at pictures of Lemmy, he never doesn't look cool. Especially if he's like holding a bass guitar, it's like, dude, that's a rock legend right there. Much of Motorhead's sort of image was Lemmy, and I keep saying was because Lemmy unfortunately died in, I want to say like the mid 2010s, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was like 2017.
Yeah, but extremely influential, famous dude when it came to metal music. So his passing, of course, was hard on a lot of people. But what we have here today is, I think I would say their 2 biggest records. One for sure is their biggest, without a doubt. The other one, again, it's one of those things where when it came to this episode, I kind of had 2 in mind. And then I went to like ranking lists just to make sure these 2 were very high up, and they are very high up. The first being their second album, Overkill. And I think their 4th album, I should have fact checked this. I think Ace of Spades is their 4th album, if I'm not mistaken. But it's Overkill versus Ace of Spades. Now, if you're at all familiar with Motorhead in any capacity, you should know Ace of Spades. If not the song, the album itself, it is by far and away their most popular, their most successful. Typically, 9 times out of 10, you'll see it at the number one spot of a Motorhead ranking. So that one was obvious. Overkill, though, I like a lot because it's sort of like a Ride the Lightning moment, as was for Metallica, where you listen to the first Motorhead record and you're like, yeah, this is good. It's solid stuff. But then you listen to Overkill. And I think in that moment, like Ride the Lightning, it's where the band really like nails what they are and sort of solidifies that. So to me, it just seemed like these two records were the records to go with. But I do want to throw out this caveat. This is very similar to the Iron Maiden episode, which was way back when. But if you recall, dear listener, if you listen to that episode, both Cody and I said that while we admire Iron Maiden and value Iron Maiden as a metal act, I'm just speaking for myself here. I'm not speaking for Cody in terms of Motorhead. But for me, Motorhead, I appreciate who they are, what they've done. I admire all their work, but they've never been one of my favorite metal bands. And I think that's largely because if you remove yourself from Overkill and Ace of Spades, these two albums, I can't really say much about their music. My main songs I know from Motorhead are from these two albums. Like there's other songs, but really it comes down to these two for me. Sort of like Number of the Beast and Power Slave did for Iron Maiden. So we're going to talk through this whole episode. And I'm going to say a lot that like I love a lot of these songs, but as a overall experience and band, they're not one of my top players in terms of the metal music.
Yeah. This is something that I've kept from Mike somehow this entire time. Metal ends here. This is it. This is, in my opinion, Motorhead is the band.
Okay. Wow. All right.
And it is because there's a little bit of personal bias. I'm going to pause a lot because I'm collecting my thoughts. There's a lot of personal bias because I play bass, and you know, I have lived my life as free as I can. Free in terms of I'm going to walk the direction that I want to walk, and then when I change, I choose to change. It's not because of instance or circumstance. It's because my left foot goes a different direction. And no one did it better than Motorhead. And it's simple. It's simple, and that's the beautiful, almost like cosmic joke about Motorhead, right? You get three dudes, make it everything louder than everything else, and you make it the toughest fucking shit you've ever heard. And it's not like big bully tough. It's like the kid who lived down the street who in the entirety of his academic career you knew worked at like a concrete yard, you know, just worked. And he was 11 and you saw him with a pack of red 100s, and it's like, that's a motherfucker right there. And when Lemmy passed away, he's the only celebrity that I've cried over, because he was like, you know, he was like the last of the Mohicans, you know, it died with him. And if you look at the rest of like contemporary hard rock and heavy metal, right, there's a through line. You look at pictures of fucking Kiss. Oh boy, there's a Motorhead shirt. You look at pictures of Guns N' Roses, you know, oh boy, there's a Motorhead shirt. You look at pictures of Metallica. Oh boy, there's a Motorhead shirt. And the one thing they never did was cheat themselves. You know, you're never going to get the Motorhead song where it's like a top 30 ballad. Did they have quieter songs? Yeah. But it was still, I'm a bad motherfucker and I'm cool until you're not cool. And then I'm really not cool. And in particular, Ace of Spades is very much like a BC AD moment for me, where it's like, man, you grow up and you listen to like processed music, right? Like you know, a lot of metal now has like bass drops or things like, or like, you know, Mike and I really like Between the Buried and Me. And there's a lot happening. There's a lot that those 5 dudes do over the course of a 4-minute song, you know? And Motorhead said, all right, make it loud and we're going to play rock and roll. And that's it. And we're going to do that until we die. And then we're going to keep going afterwards because death can't stop us, you know? It's just removing the mortal part. And so, yeah, it sounds silly to get emotional about Motorhead, but like, I mean, yeah, dude, fuck yeah, Born to Lose, Live to Win. That's it. That's it. I mean, no one else. Slayer got weird, Anthrax got weird, Metallica got real weird for a while. Fucking Megadeth has been weird forever. Motorhead walked into rooms, made the loudest noise that you've ever heard in your entire life, said thank you, good night, and then they did that for 50 years until Lemmy died on tour.
And the thing, I mean, that's great to hear, Cody. I'm glad that you're taking that stance because, like I said, Motorhead was just never that band for me. I like them a lot, but I will agree with you in that when you think metal, like stereotypical metal music, and you think of the dudes that listen to metal, these three dudes, they look like the dudes at high school who would hang out by the bathroom and smoke cigarettes while listening to Motorhead.
Yeah.
You've got, again, Lemmy, the man. You got Fast Eddie Clark. And I say fast because literally, if you look up on Wikipedia, it's fast, in quotation marks, Eddie Clark, who plays guitar. And then, for God's sakes, you got Phil the Filthy Animal Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on drums. Now, if you look at if you've never seen a picture of Motorhead and these three guys, just look at a picture of them from like the 70s. This is not Van Halen. These are not attractive dudes. These guys look like literal goblins. Like they look like they crawled out of Moria earlier in the day. But that's what's great about them is that they're not sexy frontmen. They're literally like dudes in black leather biker jackets. They look like they smoke 2 packs a day. And they're just like, fuck it, man. We just like playing this shit. And we're going to rock your socks off for the next hour and a half. And they do. Like, you listen to these 2 albums and there's no apologetic music here. It's like, you like this or get the fuck out. We aren't interested. And that's what I love about Motorhead is that it is so much the stereotypical metal band where, Metallica back in the day, they looked like metalheads. And so did Megadeth and Slayer and all of them, right? But sometimes Anthrax would throw on like jerseys. And it's like, is that really metal? Like wearing a sports jersey? You would never see Lemmy in a sports jersey or anything colorful. He had one color, black. And he wore everything black, right? And that's what I loved about them and him in particular.
Yeah, Mike's only ever known me as like a reasonable person, but like, yeah, I had like a denim vest with a Motorhead patch on the back of it.
Yep.
Like, because for people who listen to these occasionally, I've talked about this before, but like, I was in a touring band, and you measure yourself against the antics of them in particular, and it's like, yeah, you do end up wanting to smoke Red 100s and drink just out of a fifth of whiskey because of Lemmy. And then you want to go up on stage and you want to hear the loudest noise that you've ever heard in your fucking life. And then afterwards you want to say, thanks, we'll see you again soon. And that's it. And the most important thing I think about these 2 records is that there's no gloss to it. They probably went into a room, recorded these songs and said, all right, now we're going to go play these live. Thanks. Cool. Lemmy sounds exactly how he has always sounded, which is someone who smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day and then washed it down with just Jack Daniels.
Yeah. I don't think water was a part of his diet at all.
No, there's a really funny story about, there's like an interview I read with him when he had been diagnosed with he died of cancer. And the interviewer was like, how's it been having to stop drink whiskey? And he was like, I've just switched over to vodka and orange juice now. And it's like, that's it, because you're walking out how you want to walk out. You watch the last Motorhead show and it's like important to pay respects because this initially started off as like a metal podcast in a way. Album Fight Club was initially for metal, and Lemmy died the most metal fucking dude in the world. He died walking away from 10,000 pounds of shit your pants loud in front of 14,000 people. And you watch like the last performance of them in Germany when Lemmy had to walk off stage, and it's like, yeah, he tried, he fought, he went and he fought, and he said, I'm not walking away from this. He said, I go when I let it take me. And big respect for Motorhead for never reuniting. Big respect for not pulling the Linkin Park thing. Big respect for, just this was his thing with us, and now it's no longer anybody's. And it's a shame because no one makes this sound anymore. You know, loud music is really, it's like detuned and a lot of screaming, and no one does this. And I think if this walked into the room, a lot of people would stop and quiver because they've never seen, that. They've never seen like the uncle who was an old school big rig driver, like a hot shot driver who's like, yeah, for 35 years, I did uppers and drove from Pittsburgh to Arizona and back. Like, that's it. That's it. Motorhead forever. Forever. Secretly my favorite band ever.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. This was not at all, like Cody said, he did not tell me this beforehand, so this is all news to me.
Yeah, because you watch the Lemmy documentary and you listen about how that band operated, and they were the last of the Troubadours. That's it. They did what they wanted. They played what they wanted. If you didn't like it, they didn't fucking kick your teeth in. They just said, I'm sorry you feel that way, and they went on with their life until they had a problem. And nothing is more apparent than the intro to Ace of Spades. The song Ace of Spades.
Okay. Can we preamble this for a little bit, though?
Yeah.
So again, Overkill versus Ace of Spades. These are the two records. We are doing a track by track. So Overkill has 10 songs. Ace of Spades has 12. So to alleviate this, what I decided to do, and Cody agreed, is that we would throw in 2 bonus tracks from the Overkill era. We will get to those when we get to those, but just keep in mind that Overkill, the album, does not actually have 12 tracks. It has 10. But we wanted to keep the track by track here. So the literal first matchup is both self-titled songs, Overkill on Overkill and Ace of Spades on Ace of Spades. Now, Cody, I'm going to make a statement, and I just want to know if you agree or not.
Yep.
Because I agree with this statement. Is Ace of Spades the best Motorhead song?
It's in the top 3. All three of them are on these 2 records.
Yeah.
But this is my rebuttal to that statement.
Okay.
I think Ace of Spades is the best hard rock song ever written, ever.
So I make that statement because this is a situation where Ace of Spades is the Motorhead song, right? It's the one that gets play all the time. It was the one that was on Guitar Hero first when they did when they just started adding artists. Ace of Spades was first. In fact, my first memory of Motorhead is playing Rock Band 2, and there was Ace of Spades. That was the first time I ever heard Motorhead. But they chose Ace of Spades because it's Ace of Spades, right? It's like that song for that band. I think personally, Ace of Spades, the song, is Motorhead's finest hour. In that it is like their most distilled, perfect them. Everybody just, for God's sakes, the bass riff on this song is so iconic. It's so good. And the fact that that's what opens the song is just that. It's like, and Lemmy's vocals too, like throughout the whole album, right? But there's something about Lemmy's fucking vocals that are so like, it is that pack of cigarettes, down it with whiskey, maybe take a snort of coke and then go out there and just do it, right? He's not singing. He's just kind of like shouting his lyrics. And that's what makes it so cool, right? I don't think there's any moments of Lemmy singing anywhere in Motorhead because he just didn't do it. He's like, no, man, I'm going to shout my vocals because I've got the voice for it. Yeah, it's the 3 of them operating at literally the highest level. And there's no mistaking why this song is the song for Motorhead. You just listen to it once and you're like, that's a career-defining song right there.
Yeah. I agree.
However, is it the better song? Okay, excuse me. Is it the better song? Yes. I think Ace of Spades is the better song than Overkill. But we have constantly on this podcast, Cody said, I'm going to go with this one because I prefer it. I will give all the cards and say Ace of Spades is the better song. But Overkill, the song, is actually my favorite Motorhead song. And
that's fair.
In the same way that the bass opens up Ace of Spades, the record and the song, there is just something about that double kick pattern. And it's the most basic double kick pattern ever. It's literally just bucka, 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 and doing like quarter note hi-hats and a hit on the snare. And yet it's the coolest goddamn thing to open a record with. Like, there's just something like double bass. Overkill came out in 1979, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think it was 1979. throughout
Yeah.
the 70s, artists have been using double bass. It's not like Phil is the first one to do double bass, but it sounds like he's the first. It sounds like double bass patterns and double bass kicking was discovered in this moment. Even though it's not true, there's just something about the primal energy of it. It's so basic, and yet it just sells it so hard. And then behind it, you get the bass riff of Overkill, which it's so like Overkill is a song to me in the way that Ace of Spades is like Motorhead perfected. I think this is Motorhead operating at like their most simplest level, but also their most effective level, which is when Overkill comes on, like, I want to mosh, I want to thrash, I want to take something and throw it at the wall. Like, it's that level of cool for me. And when you get those false endings and he just comes right back in with those double kick, oh my God. And then he does it again? Like, Get out of here. And they always come in with, it's the drums come in and then that bass riff comes in. And it's so goddamn cool. Overkill is my favorite Motorhead song, and I'm actually giving the edge to Overkill. Even though Ace of Spades is a better song, I will admit, I will take Overkill every day over Ace of Spades.
See, I feel awful because I did all this talking about how Motorhead's like the GOAT. But it's because of how honest it is. You know, you listen to Ace of Spades, and but both of these songs are rattlesnakes. You know, you hear it and you're walking through a field and you hear this fucking rattlesnake and you go, God damn it, I've always wanted to see a rattlesnake, but I'm stuck in this field with a rattlesnake. And it's just about operating around it. Because rattlesnake doesn't want to hunt you down, you know? Motorhead doesn't want to hunt you down. They make their noise and say, all right, man, you know the stake now. You know the game. You either keep walking and we'll be cool, or we're going to have a problem and I'm going to win. To me, though, it's always going to be Ace of Spades. And it's always going to be Ace of Spades against anything.
Yeah.
Any of them. Ever. Fucking Iron Man. I'm sorry, brother. Make it loud. Make it fast. Make it hurt my ears. And afterwards, when my heart is racing, I'm going to go, damn, I want to listen to the next song on this record. Now, what Overkill does really well, I think, is showcase just how beyond they were in terms of like some of the other heavier music coming out. Because Motorhead's greatest trick is distilling rock and roll into metal. That's all it is. Just take rock and roll and you make it louder, you know? Put some balls on it. And what I think is really fun about Overkill is like you look at the track length and you hear like the first 20 seconds of the song, you're like, God, dude, you're telling me I gotta listen to 4 minutes of this? But it slowly turns into like, it almost feels like in a way it's just like two friends fucking around with each other, you know? Two best friends. Like, yeah, I'm just going to keep playing the kick pattern and you just keep coming in. I'm just going to keep playing it and you keep coming in. And when we're done, sorry. It's like, yeah, your band will get up next, but we're not off the stage yet. And we're not going to get off the stage until we want to get off the stage. But I mean, it's Ace of Spades, but like the true answer is like, it's both of them. Because nothing sounds like this. You know, this is the inverse of hearing Converge for the first time. Nothing will ever be this again. You know, that's it. Because you look at everything else and it's like, no, dude, no, nothing sounds like this. Everything's got a little more polish. But for me, it's Ace, and my Ace of Spades story, because I think every person who really likes loud music and gets a little, you know, ornery. I think everybody who ever picks up an instrument wants to play Ace of Spades. I went to the Guitar Center. It's in downtown Denver, and they had a stack of Marshalls. And Lemmy was famous. He used a Marshall with a 412 and then a 415, which is real loud. But he never ran any bass. It was like the bass all the way down on the amp, treble, mids, gain. And so they had a Rickenbacker bass there, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna do the Lemmy thing. And the like guitar center associate there was like, he was like, oh yeah, like being a shithead. He was like, I've always wanted to hear this thing fucking turned up loud, and I was like, it's not my job, dude. So I fucking dimed it, and I started playing, and you could tell he wasn't expecting that, because you hear something, you stand in front of something that loud, and it like discombobulates you. You know, you're in a wall of, you're floating in an abyss. And he was like, all right, man, we should like turn it down. And I was like, no, we're not going to turn it down. I was going to keep going. And yeah, he got fired. I was banned from the Guitar Center in Denver.
Wow.
Yep, all because of Ace of Spades. So
damn you, Lemmy.
Damn you, Lemmy. Thank you for giving me that. But yeah, Ace of Spades. And then it's like, it's crazy. This is going to be such a freeform conversation, because I feel like it has to be. You go from these two songs, right? And you're like, oh, where can this go? Because both of these were really like impressive showcases of what a band does. And then on Ace of Spades, you get what? Love Me Like a Reptile?
Oh yeah, you do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is, Love Me Like a Reptile feels like the construction yard kid beating up the kid who has like the Kiss jacket. He has him against the locker, and he's friends with him, but he's only friends because he hasn't chosen to be a dick that day. And he's just tufting his hair, and he's like, oh, I bet you do love Kiss. He's like, yeah, you've never had a Milwaukee's Best, you know? And it's a shame, because you listen to the rest of these songs, and the first 3 words that come to my mind are, what the fuck, you know? These records are 50 years old. Nothing sounds like this, you know?
Yeah, Love Me Like a Reptile, which I'm not a huge fan of the title. Like, this is a song I wasn't super familiar with until doing this exercise, and I'm like, that sounds like a metal title, but I'm not, like, what does that even mean? Love Me Like a Reptile? Like, what the hell is he talking about? But once you listen to it and you hear Lemmy say these lyrics, you're like, okay, I'm all about it. Like, just the rattlesnake imagery and all that stuff. I will say, though, I hate how he says reptile on the chorus. I don't even know if I can mimic it. It's like reptile. Like, he does like a little like tongue roll on the L.
He does like a trill.
Yeah, it's really weird. And every time I hear it, it kind of like cringes me a bit. But literally every other line, he sells it so hard, even though like, I don't even think the concept makes much sense, but God damn, it's such a cool song. And then you get the last 45 seconds and you get that isolated bass riff solo thing. Oh my God. Every time. It's just like, that's the coolest goddamn thing ever. Yep. As opposed to Stay Clean on Overkill, the second track, which I don't know how you feel about this song, but to me, where you said, okay, those first songs were killer. And I agree. Both first tracks were killer. Whereas they follow it up on Ace of Spades with Love Me Like a Reptile. And I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. I get to Stay Clean. And it sounds like we've gone in a time machine and gone back 10 years to 1969 era rock. It sounds like something that like Steppenwolf would do, which nothing against Steppenwolf. I think they're a decent band, but this sounds like 1960s era rock, where Overkill sounded like 1970s rock, metal, etc. It's just something that it doesn't impress me in any way. It's not that it's bad, but I hear Overkill and I'm like, holy shit, that's like one of the coolest songs ever. And then I go to Stay Clean, I'm like, okay, honestly, in some cases, it kind of sounds like a cover, which I know it's not, but like, that's the vibe I'm getting from it. I'm not really impressed by Stay Clean whenever I hear it. So to me, I just want to say, to me at least, I would give the edge to Love Me Like a Reptile.
Here's how I think you have to view it, right? Take this image, this phrasing of Motorhead is just rock and roll. I mean, all metal was is rock and roll. That's it. This is just someone playing Mark II Deep Purple really loud. This is what a garage band playing Mark II Deep Purple sounded like. And I love that about Stay Clean. You listen to this song and it's like, because I went into this exercise trying to figure out how I could love one record and despise the other. And it's like, that's silly, man. You know, not to go back to that. The dude made me pick my fucking instrument. You know, this band single-handedly shaped the last 14 years of my life. I can't desecrate that, you know? I could desecrate Pink Floyd. But this is my opinion, is just the love of music. And I think that's what's so great, because then you listen to stories about Lemmy working as a roadie for Hendrix and being in Hawkwind and all these things. And it's like, yeah, 100%. Love Me Like a Reptile just sounds like Love Gun, you know? And this just sounds like Mark II Deep Purple. And it's like, shit, man, I'll take a louder version of Lazy any day, you know? Yep. You want to play Smoke on the Water, but gnarlier? And like, not in like a gross way where you're cutting it up into a bunch of weird Tool time signatures. You just want to take the volume and bump it? Yeah, dude, 100%. I'll be deaf when I'm old. I'm listening right now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, fair. And like I said, I don't hate Stay Clean at all. I think it's good work. It just doesn't impress me like Reptile does. Yeah. When you compare the two, which of course is what this podcast is at the end of the day trying to do. So
yeah, the if I had to pick one or the other, it would be Love Me Like a Reptile. But because in a weird way, you can hear the Beatles influence. Like, there are some things that happen in the song where it's like, you could tell someone said, I bet Paul McCartney would walk it like this. Where, you know, Paul McCartney did a lot of those things where he was really melodic. He used like a lot of romance in a way where he was like, well, instead of it being this to this, what if it's this to this half note to this? And Love Me Like a Reptile does that really well, on top of being maybe the best Kiss song. So
yeah.
And it's like, and it's so crazy because in a way, this is the most fantastic example of like what you see is what you get. Because you look at the Ace of Spades album cover and it's those three dudes looking like the craziest mariachi band you've ever seen in your life. And it's like, man,
their own posse of bounty hunters. Like, they hunt the bounty hunters. That's what they look like to me.
They keep the bounty hunters in check. Yeah. Like, and then you look at that and you hear a sound in the back of your head and you go, man, I wonder what it sounds like. And then you buy the record and it's like, oh yeah, no, that's what that would sound like.
Yep.
And then you listen to Overkill and it's like, oh yeah, no, that's what that would sound like. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, like, dude, we get into like Old Boy Good Time on the next one. We'll Shoot You in the Back. And what, I Won't Pay Your Price?
Yep.
Dude, Shoot You in the Back. That's old school pool hall beer drinking music.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, it makes me wish, like, in a weird way, that I grew up when my dad was growing up. Because I would have loved to found him in the back of the fucking Blue Moon in Uniontown, played some pool and picked a fight with him. And it's like, this is what that song is, man. It's like, yeah, we're chilling, whatever. You can hear it. You can hear the billiards mentally in the background. You can smell it.
Shoot You in the Back is like the most motorcycle bar song ever, which is, you walk in, there's like a fog of cigarette smoke. Yep. Like, it's one of those bars that still let people smoke inside. You got like you said, the billiard tables, you've got darts going on. Every dude in there is like bald and has a beard, and they've got a beer in front of them. Like, that's what this is. And it nails it so hard.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about this, though, is like, you hear this, and this is a lot of noise for three people, but it's not a lot of noise how like we did with Rush, right? It's just like, damn, you guys are in. You guys are in. Like, in my opinion, this is how a tight band operates, where it's like, you listen to, you know, like the Jimi Hendrix Experience or like Band of Gypsies. And it's like, yeah, man, that's cool. But like, Motorhead's on it. They're locked in a rhythm. Every once in a while, someone steps out, does a thing, come back to the rhythm. You know, we're not here to show off. We're here to play loud music, get you drunk. You know, that's my job tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about Pay Your Price?
Ah, dude, love it. I love it because I love Caius, and I love it because I love Queens of the Stone Age. That's what this is. It's like you listen to those bands, and it's like you listen to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, and it's like, man, I would love to hear what that first wave of this sounded like. And it's like, joke's on you, dude. This is it. It's just buried 3 songs deep in a Motorhead record.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool. Whatever.
What's funny is with Pay Your Price and Shoot You in the Back. It came at a point. It came to like. I like a lot of these songs. It really came down to which one impresses me more. Yeah. And so I get to I Won't Pay Your Price, and you get this very bouncy jingle of like the boom, bam, boom, bam, boom, bam, mm-hmm. Like, and I'm just like, okay, that's very different than Stay Clean and Overkill at this point. But what really sold me on Pay Your Price is the chorus, which is just 2 lines. Out of my way, I won't pay your price. And it's just like, it's surprisingly catchy as hell for not just Motorhead, but like metal music in general. When I was doing this, I found the song I kept singing in my head after like listening to these records was actually I Won't Pay Your Price. It's that chorus is so simple and so catchy. And beyond that, I mean, like, I will say though, the verses I think kind of sound like gibberish sometimes on Pay Your Price, because he's almost trying to tackle too many words in how slow the song is. And at points, it literally just sounds like Lemmy just like making up gibberish on the fly. But then you get to the chorus and like, pay your price. Like I'm there with him the whole time. I actually gave the edge to Pay Your Price, even though Shoot You in the Back is so like that thing that we talked about of the biker bar. Pay Your Price just stuck with me. It's a song that I had stuck in my head for like days. So again, it came down to which one impressed me more in the moment. And I actually did give it to Pay Your Price.
That's fair. You know, I think both of these songs are the hard thing about these 2 records and Motorhead's entire catalog is that so much of it is exceptionally good for being rock and roll music. Mm-hmm. It's just they got lumped in with all of the metal people. I think that's where the divot falls. Because it's like, if a metalhead listens to this, they're probably not prepared for it to. This is what like my generation, our generation would probably just consider like, rock and roll. And that's cool, man. That's totally cool. What I did want to say though is doing these 2 songs really made me wish that if I had a time machine to go back in time and book Motorhead and Iggy and the Stooges, like at the raw power era, and just like let it happen, man. Because I think you listen to Pay Your Price and it's like, yeah, I would love to see either Iggy open or close this. Put MC5 in the middle, bro. Over. And it's like, for this, I gave it Shoot You in the Back. But it's like, these are still both like damn good songs. And it's like, you can't do this sound better. That's right. Like the hard thing is it's like you listen to it and then you start measuring everything else you hear against this. And it's like, yeah, it's what I want, man. Just want to get on a motorcycle and drive somewhere, Okay.
So for me, sometimes my issue with Motorhead is that you'll hear a song by them, and at least this is me. Maybe you disagree with this claim, but sometimes I'll hear a Motorhead song and be like, I swear I already listened to this somewhere. Yep. We get to I'll Be Your Sister on Overkill. And this is a moment where I swear that I've heard, and I'm not talking like I've heard this song 10 years ago. Like this is a moment where like, I feel like I already heard this song on this album, even though it's track number 4. Like sometime, and this will happen some other times as we go through this track listing, but sometimes a Motorhead song sounds so derivative that I swear like I've already heard it. And the first instance of that when we talk about these 2 albums is I'll Be Your Sister. Not that it's bad, but it's not doing anything interesting for me. I mean, even the guitar solo on this song is just kind of like whatever. It doesn't impress me. It doesn't wow me in any way. And so like, it's the first moment on Overkill where I'm like, it's fine, but this is not one I'm going to take to the bank with me. This is not one I'm going to remember forever. Whereas compared to Live to Win, I think that bass intro immediately grabs you. Where I'll Be Your Sister comes on, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm with it. But then Live to Win, the bass intro comes in, I'm like,
oh yeah,
all right, you've got my attention. And then it's just got more energy. It's got a cooler chorus. Like, it just does more interesting stuff than I'll Be Your Sister does. And that's largely the case with Ace of Spades, the record. There's a reason why it's always chosen as number one. Although I think Overkill in a lot of moments, maybe not a lot, in several moments outweighs Ace of Spades. We haven't gotten to those songs yet, but I think it's fair to say Ace of Spades is Motorhead at their most peak, rare form, like togetherness. So it's not a surprising statement to say something like Live to Win is more impressive of a song than I'll Be Your Sister. It's just kind of the era Motorhead was in at the time. So I gave the edge to Live to Win largely because I think it just does more than I'll Be Your Sister does.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you said, I absolutely agree with. I'll Be Your Sister is the first time doing this exercise where I had a clear cut stance on it. You know, but also too, complete bias. I mean, like any song that starts out with like a fucking rip roaring bass intro. Yeah, I mean, you already got me. You could do that and then turn into like smooth jazz. You could turn into like Charles Mingus. And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah. But for the first 20 seconds of that song, you slammed everything to 10 and then you took that to 10. So you got 20 now. And it's like, yeah, it's cool, man. I don't know. I'll Be Your Sister. It's okay. But it's like, I think a lot of Overkill misses in the mix. Because you get to Ace of Spades and like everything just sounds gnarlier. It's the only. Yeah, it's just it's better, like grindier.
It's better produced for sure.
Yeah, and I think if I'll Be Your Sister was maybe like re-recorded later with like more steadfast kind of stuff that they were doing at this time, I think it would be better respected. But to me, it's like, yeah, whatever. I mean, yeah, it's cool. Get to the next ones.
Yep. Yeah. Well, speaking of, a total dichotomy antithesis happens where I get to I'll Be Your Sister and I'm like, I feel like I've already heard this song. Like, I swear I've already heard it on this record. It's like, if this is going to be the whole record, like, I don't want to. Then they get to Capricorn and it's almost like a completely different band walks into the ring.
Yep.
It's so strange to me. Also, did you listen to these on Spotify?
Yep.
Okay, the Spotify version of Capricorn is lower. It's just quieter. And I don't know why that is. It's just a quieter version of the song, which I don't get.
They knew we were doing this.
I guess so. Capricorn literally sounds like it was recorded in a cave. Like, It's so airy. It's so echoey, but that's what's cool about it. I listen to this song and I go, oh, this sounds completely different than everything I've heard so far. So I'm immediately interested on that level. And then on top of it, like, Capricorn compared to all these songs might be, I would have to go through all the songs again, just off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure this is the most like diversive song in that it sounds literally nothing like anything else on either of these records. And on top of it, I think it's just a good song, right? So like that gives it the brownie points as well. Fast and Loose, I mean, Fast and Loose is better than I'll Be Your Sister in that whole, like, I feel like I've heard this already, but Fast and Loose was that moment where I'm like, okay, this sounds like every song on Ace of Spades so far, just another version of it, which is still great because Ace of Spades is an amazing record. But when you compare it to Capricorn, which sounds nothing like anything on Overkill or Ace of Spades, I kind of throw it in the camp of that just for those reasons. Nothing against Fast and Loose, though. And one thing also I wanted to mention is that you may know this more than I, but like Lemmy was known to be rather promiscuous. And if I'm not mistaken, he has the highest body count. By body count, I mean sexual interaction. I don't know what the number is, but it's something absurd. Like, I want to say it's like this is going to sound completely ridiculous, but I want to say it's something like 5,000 women.
No, it's 10.
10,000?
10,000.
Jesus Christ. And like, there's a part of me that goes, there's no way. Like, Lemmy looks like a literal goblin. Like, what woman would want to sleep with Lemmy? But then you go see these dudes live. You see Lemmy being Lemmy on stage. And there's a part of me that goes like, look, if I was a chick, like, this dude just kind of has something.
Well, also too, Mike, I think you might be misrepresenting what Motorhead looks like. Motorhead is old school Hell's Angels vibe. They're wearing it is a black denim shirt, a cowboy hat that is black jeans, black cowboy boots, metal rings, long hair, and a beard. And dude, listen, man, if I'm growing up in the summer of love, and the competition is David Lee Roth. I'm sorry. Fucking
But that's
fucking Motorhead is winning. If Motorhead walked into a bar,
no.
those are the first three dudes I'm walking up to and getting a beer with.
If you're into metal music, yes, right? But what I'm saying is take it from a female perspective and not to certainly get into like this conversation, but I'm sorry, the dudes in Motorhead are not attractive dudes just on a base level. They're just not. What's great about Motorhead though is that they have such swagger, right? It doesn't matter that they're like goblins. They like sell their stuff when they're on stage. Lemmy's just a cool ass dude, even though he's not the prettiest guy in the world. Whereas compared to someone like Van Halen, like those are all attractive guys. Like, I'm sorry. And then they write the music they do and they perform the way they do. Like, I can see how all of them picked up chicks. Motorhead, though, just based off like, if they walk on stage, I'm like, who are these guys in their black leather and like they probably write poetry on the side about really cringy stuff. Like these guys are not it. But then they play, and then I'm like, okay, these guys got something. So when you hear a song like Fast and Loose and you hear the lyrics of Fast and Loose, which are exactly what you think they are, right? When Lemmy sings them, I'm like, okay, I can see him doing this. But just looking at the dude, I'm like, I don't know if I buy this. But once the performance kicks in, then I'm like, okay, like I buy what you're saying.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, both these songs kick ass. My one note for Capricorn is why is this song 5 minutes long? That's like, agree with everything you said. But yeah, no, it's a cool airy song. Yeah, it's nice. It's like a breakaway. Fast and Loose is hilarious because it's like, yeah, man. If I was Lemmy, man, let me tell you, I'm Genghis Khan, you know. And
Yeah.
there's a really funny story, which is NSFW for a pod, but apparently one time he passed out from getting too much head in one day, back to back to back. He got like three different blowies
That's
in
insane.
a row. Yeah, and then by the end of the third one, he was like, "I just can't. I just passed out." And so he was like, "Yeah, I woke up in the back like the Hammersmith ballroom, just like passed out." And he was like, "What happened?" Yeah, no, dude, I don't know. Listen, Fast and Loose kicks ass. Capricorn kicks ass. We Are the Road Crew is my favorite fucking Motorhead song, so I can't wait to talk about that. I'm just like, I keep looking at it.
Well, what song did you go with in terms of Fast and Loose and Capricorn?
Fast and Loose.
Okay. All right, go ahead. We Are the Road Crew.
Yeah, dude, every single time I hear this song, no lie, it makes me want to smash a beer bottle against someone's head. Bonkers good song. Bonkers good. Every hard rock song matches is compared to this in my brain. Every single one of them. So damn good. And it's because I love the ridiculous idea of it. It's not talking about, being a rock star. It's not talking about what Fast and Loose is talking about, which is, knocking them out of the park day after day. It's, yeah, man, woke up, unpacked the van, got drunk, went to sleep, did some drugs, woke up, unpacked the van, got drunk. But it's the conviction where he hits that chorus where he goes, we are the road crew. I'm like, yeah, man. And it's like, you get the guitar solo that comes in. It's just a big old fucking middle finger. But it could be one of those songs like Stay by Jackson Browne, where it's like this really lovely piano medley about how hard the road crew works for you and you'll never see them and they'll never be the one to sign the autograph. And this dude's like, fuck it, man. The quicker I move this box is the quicker I get a drink. So let's move the box. Like, it's my favorite Motorhead song. And, damn. And it's cool because you get a little bit of secret Lemmy history. Like I said, being a roadie for Jimi Hendrix, working with Hawkwind, being the guy who was just a guy before Motorhead. And then you get No Class, and it's like, yeah, it's a good song, but it's not We Are the Road Crew. I don't get this like I'm standing next to a brick wall smoking a cigarette guitar solo. That's what, yeah, I don't know, man. Fucking We Are the Road Crew. It kicks ass every single time I hear it. I listen to that song once a day.
I will agree in that. No Class, I think, is it's a good little song. It does not impress me in any way, shape, or form. Like, I hear it and I go, okay, it's another solid Motorhead song. Thank you. And then I go to We Are the Road Crew and it's like, okay, this is awesome. This kicks a lot of ass. Like, it's good stuff. Harley Riders Rejoice. We Are the Road Crew is your anthem. This is the one you ride your Harley gangs, right? When there's 10 of you, you ride down the road or the highway and all of you have to sync up to We Are the Road Crew as you're riding. So all 10 motorcycles are playing it at the exact same beat and time and signature. Yeah, We Are the Road Crew, I think, is just objectively the better song. And like you said, it's cool that it's some Lemmy history. The chorus is cool. Everything's cool about it. Whereas No Class is just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I don't skip it, but this is not the memorable song on Overkill.
Now, so here's the problem though. Right. This is such a Cody answer. We're pulling out all the Cody hits. We're pulling out Album Fight Club lore on the last episode of season 2. Because in my opinion, you're allowed to have more than one favorite song. Because damn, dude, I'm sorry. You get to Damage Case, and let me tell you, the roof is coming off the fucking building. You get maybe we have talked about bands with swagger, right? We talked about Van Halen with fucking swagger. We listened to a couple bands where they get into a groove. The intro of Damage Case is the baddest motherfucker walking into the room, getting a beer, kissing a girl, lighting a cigarette, and causing a fucking brawl. That is what this song sounds like. This song is what your parents thought heavy metal music was going to do to you. This is this song. This song, no lie, if I saw this song walk into the room, I'm breaking sobriety. If this song said, hey, man, we're going to go rob a bank. Yeah. This is the Travis Bickle of music. It's the fucking Taxi Driver of music. Damage Case, dude. And it's like, it's the Motorhead trick. We took a rock song and we just made it fucking louder. Because you get what, Mike? What do you get? You get that sick ass fucking guitar, bass and drum beat coming. Ba-da, 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 ba-da. Bum, 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 bum. It's like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I'm walking up to the biggest person in the room, punching in the fucking head. Sorry. Opposite of Converge. I know I'm causing the fight today. Like, Fire is a good song. If it's compared to any other song by any other band, it's like, got a chance. Yeah, we're talking about fucking Damage Case, bro. I mean, that's like, this is Ace of Spades. If Ace of Spades is like the halfway point, dude, Damage Case is is like Ace of Spades' older, scarier brother who for sure did time in prison, and he won't tell you why. And then you find out why, and it's like, damn, he beat a dude to death. Old school style. Like, just punched until it was squishes. I'm not fucking with that, dude. Yeah.
I was really afraid you were going to be like, bro, we get to fire. And I was like, please don't say fire. Because Damage Case, dude. Damage Case is so fucking cool. Such a cool song. Like, there are 3 pillars of Overkill, in my opinion. It's Overkill, the song, Damage Case, and one more song we haven't gotten to yet. But God, Damage Case, just like you said, just the down, but then they get the like, yep. It's the grimiest. It's so simple. It's just all of them hitting notes at the same time. It's so basic. It's so cavemanish. But in the same way that it's basic cavemanish, it's like that grunty, grimy cavemanish where it's like, oh my God, I want to resort to like fire and clubs right now. I want to get rid of all technology and go back to hunting saber-tooths with like sticks. That's how like Damage Case makes me feel.
Damage Case is like, in a way, it's like such a horny song, but in like a different way from an Out Green song, where like you listen to like Marvin Gaye, you put on What's Going On, and you're like, man, I'm gonna light some candles. And Damage Case is like, I can't get out of this bar fast enough, dude. I cannot get to the back of my car fast enough. Like, holy shit, man. I mean, I don't truly, to break from from the weird fog I'm in thinking about Motorhead and how kick-ass fucking Motorhead is. I don't know how you would hear this and not think this is the end-all be-all motherfucker, you know? This is it. Damage Case is prime era Mike Tyson, and everything else is like Buster Jones. Like, oh yeah, he's gonna put up a chance. Buster Jones is going to sleep real soon.
But we didn't even reference the coolest part of Damage Case. That fucking chorus where he goes, "Move over for a damage case." Like every time that happens, the nearest object that is not bolted to the ground, I am picking up and throwing at somebody's head. Like it's just Lemmy like nailing that. Nope, don't need to sing, don't need to be melodic. Just get me on a microphone and let me shout this thing. And I swear to you, every single person in this room is going to feel 10 times cooler than they do when I say this. And he says it, and I'm like, I could literally do 2 backflips right now when he says this goddamn thing. It's so cool.
Yep, and it's like the thing that the piece of the statement, the op-ed that Mike read about Eruption, where he said there's no diminishing returns. That is this. This is the example. This song will stay at 100 every single time. Yeah. And I tell you what, dude, you're hard pressed to find something that carries this level of consistency. Every single time this song comes on, I'm sorry, I'm finding someone who is wearing a Carhartt jacket who doesn't deserve to be wearing a Carhartt jacket, and I'm punching them in the face. That's it. I am the problem because I can handle being the problem. Very few songs are this good.
Yeah, and Fire, it's fine, but I literally have nothing to say about it when it's up against Damage Case. Honestly, the only thing about Fire is that at times it sounds like a Jimi Hendrix song, something Jimi Hendrix would have done, which is not bad. It's just kind of what it is. But dude, Damage Case is arguably the coolest song here. Like maybe not the best, but the coolest.
Yeah, Damage Case belongs in a top 10 greatest rock songs conversation at like any of them.
Yeah, it's real damn good.
It hits, and it's like, once again, it will continue to hit. You can listen to this song. I bet in certain third world hospitals they use that instead of fucking adrenaline. Just slam some earplugs into someone's ears and say, all right, man, make it loud, and then make it louder.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then it's so ridiculous because then you go on to the next matchup, and I think this might be the best episode of this podcast because it's just Mike and I flourishing over fucking Motorhead. Because then you get to Jailbait, right? Which crazy title for a song, crazy title. You can tell this dude was horny all the time. But then you get the intro to the song, and it's so fucking awesome. Because this is what you would do, right? You walk into a room, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then you're into it. 3 people on this goddamn song.
I do find it interesting that both these songs have a little like studio session intro where like the guys say something before they get into the song, which is strange. I guess that just kind of happened as it did. Although my favorite is "I Won't Pay Your Price," where Lemmy's just like, "I'm so fucking drunk," and then they just start the song.
And it's like you have to respect the fact that, damn, dude, he everybody in this band, no suits, right?
Mm-hmm.
No ties.
Yeah. I don't think Lemmy wore a suit in his life.
No, nope.
Like, I can't see it. A button up, no, unless it's black. Unless it's a black button up. But I could see Lemmy going to a wedding in what he normally wears. Like
so Lemmy was notorious for collecting World War II memorabilia. And so he had a whole bunch of SS officer jackets, but all dyed jet black.
Yeah.
And so like these super cool, like almost like he had those in like Civil War jackets and stuff. And I mean, like, dude, then you get to like tear you down, and you're now sitting at this point with Overkill where it's like Damage Case was so fucking good, dude. That song was a kick in the ass, and you get to tear you down. It's like where did this come from? Who went out and bought a fuzz pedal? You know, because man, this is old school. Both of these songs, I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard because you listen to it and it's like, I don't think music gets much better here. You know, this is what I want, and this is what we've been.
Prefer?
Oh, tear you down.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Yeah, Fuzz is one of those things where anytime I hear it in a song, I just get I get bricked up because I love Fuzz so much. I've got my pedal board right here. One of the 4 pedals I own is a Big Muff because it's like the noise a Fuzz pedal makes is just so unrelentingly cool. And anytime I get to hear a Fuzz, I'm like, yeah. And you know, because it's so cool because David Gilmour notoriously used a Big Muff, but with the sustain rolled back, so instead of getting that real zippy, bitey fuzz sound, it was like a really serene sustain. It's like, that's cool, man. That the same thing that's on like Breathe in the Air is making Tear You Down. Probably same model of fucking pedal, you know? Insane.
I actually went with Tear You Down as well. And the thing that sold it for me over Jailbait, which both songs are very good, but the thing that sold it over me was in fact the bass. I think the bass in Tear You Down is just like really cool, and I think it's cooler than than what Jailbait is doing.
Yeah.
So this was a close one for me, but Tear You Down I did give the edge to as well.
Yeah.
Because like you said, fuzz can go a long way.
And you know, if you're listening to this, dude, use more fuzz. Give me more fuzz. I'm sick of hearing, this is a hot take, I'm sick of hearing all this modern high gain bullshit. Buy a Big Muff. Turn the Big Muff on. Like, stop. I don't want articulation. I want caveman noise. That's all I want, man. Stop thinking about it so much. Make it loud and then make it louder. Please. Thank you. That's it. Can I get more of this?
Yep. Metropolis versus Dance. I got to tell you, Cody, Metropolis is my least favorite song on Overkill.
So, okay, I'm glad. Which means, though, we're going to have to talk about Caius soon.
Yeah, I mean, it very much sounds like them. It's another moment like Capricorn, where it doesn't sound kind of like anything that came before it.
Yeah.
But Capricorn sort of like excited me in that way, and Metropolis kind of bored me in that way, I'm sorry to say. Like Metropolis, I listen to it and I'm like, it's not that it's bad, it's just boring. Like, I'm sorry. Like, nothing about it is truly exciting and engaging, especially when like 2 tracks earlier you had Damage Case, and then you follow this up with Metropolis. It's like, honestly, it does kind of feel like it's the second to last song on Overkill, and it kind of feels like it. It's like okay, we don't want to save it for the last song because, spoiler alert, I fucking love the last song on Overkill, but we have to have one more song here. Let's just throw on Metropolis, and it's like, okay, this is just, I'm waiting for the next song. Whereas with Dance is also not my favorite song on Overkill, but it excites me in the way that it's fast, frenetic. It's got that energy. It's got that pulse that Metropolis doesn't. And so just by a nature of proxy, I like Dance more just because I get more excited listening to Dance than I do Metropolis.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe this will finally be, Metropolis will finally be the moment where I convince Mike. Mike doesn't need convincing. I just drop it in a Google Doc, but where we finally can have an episode dedicated to stoner rock bands. Because, man, I'm sorry. Take a Big Muff, you make it real loud. Play me some stoner shit. It's why Into the Void might be the best Black Sabbath song.
It's a damn good song.
Because it's like, yeah, you know what you're doing. Give me this oozy symbiotic riff and then play that riff for a while. Thanks. Yeah, no, Dance is crazy. My note for Dance is fuck you, bonkers good song, no bad Motorhead songs.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
We'll get to, well, I'm going to save it. But not this next matchup. We get Limb from Limb versus Bite the Bullet, which long leg lover, I'm gonna tear you limb from limb. Oh, I love Limb for Limb. And the fact that it's the last song is such a good choice for Overkill. The three pillars of Overkill for me: Overkill, Damage Case, Limb from Limb. Limb from Limb sounds like they listened to early Led Zeppelin and we're like, we could do that. And God, that fucking blues riff that they do, the boom, 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 burn, and it's such a bluesy song in both sound and like structure. I mean, like the first half of Limb from Limb is literally just a blues song, but what's brilliant about it is that, like you've been saying, it's heavier, it's fatter in a good way, and you got Lemmy's vocals on it, and it just gives it this new raunchy sort of grit that, like, blues is already gritty to begin with, but when you get Lemmy in there and add his vocals to it, it's like, this is the grimiest of grit in the best way. Go ahead.
In a way, Limb from Limb, this is going to be a crazy statement, and I'll expand on it after I say it. If Led Zeppelin just stole the blues from black artists, this is Lemmy hand in hand going, hey, we can do this together. Because I bet, when Leadbelly was like alive and playing music, I bet he never thought that, let's crank it up that loud. That's what's kick ass about the blues. And it's like, in a really fun way, that's what Stevie Ray Vaughan did so well, because like you listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan and it's like, yeah, man, that dude's using a lot of gain. That's a loud music. That's loud music, man. That's it. Because you dynamically, if you have something real loud, then you can cut the volume and it works. Works as dynamics. And personally, this might be my favorite Led Zeppelin song, dude. Because, man, I don't have to think about dumb British piece of shit Jimmy Page and sitting in a room going, all right, Matt, so what we'll do is we'll do this and then we'll do that and we're going to layer it on times. It's like, no, put that mic there. Turn that up. Thanks for doing it. Give me a cigarette, please. Cool.
It may be my favorite non-Led Zeppelin song. I don't know. There's a lot of damn good Led Zeppelin songs, but to your point, like, it is very Led Zeppelin and it's very good at being like that sound. And then they get to the fast half, the second half, which just like speeds it up and it's like just as good. And they keep the momentum and the guitar work is crazy. And it's just like perfect close to Overkill. Such a great way to close out Overkill. Unfortunately for Ace of Spades, Bite the Bullet. Bite the Bullet is not the last song on Ace of Spades, It's the 10th song. And it's real damn good. I really like the fake intro where they get into it. And then I think Phil on drums is the one that goes like, fucking damn it, like, do it again, or whatever they say. It's fast, upbeat, it's short and sweet. And that's largely because it's an intro to, it feels like an intro to the next song on Ace of Spades, damn it. Feels like the next intro to that. So unfortunately, it's a bad matchup. But again, that's what this podcast is. Sometimes it's just bad matchups. Limb from Limb for me just like completely steals the matchup here.
Yeah, I mean, 1,000,000%. And then, I mean, you gotta, Jesus Christ, you get the fucking Chase is Better. And it's like, I don't know. Like, Chase is Better is just one of those songs where you hear it and you're like, come on, man, leave some for the rest of us, Yeah. Shit, you can't have all of it. And somehow you did. Like, somehow I let you,
First of all, The Chase is Better Than the Catch. What an amazing song title. And then you hear it and it's like, this sounds exactly like the title speaks to. But what's interesting, Cody, and we'll speak more to it, but when we were lining this up, when I was talking about these matchups and what I thought we should do, once again, Overkill is now over, but there's still 2 tracks. We added 2 bonus tracks. Yep. One of the tracks we added is a cover of Louie Louie. And when I brought this up to Cody, Cody said, you're going to love my opinion about Louie Louie. So I'm excited to hear what that is.
Oh, man, you want me to go now?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I can go first if you want.
Nah, dude, Louie Louie is the worst goddamn song I've ever written. I hate Louie Louie. I hate Louie. Every iteration of this song makes me angry. Every single time I hear somebody play Louie Louie who is not the original artist who wrote Louie Louie.
I don't even know. That's the strange thing. I don't know who wrote this goddamn song. All I know
Hold
is
on.
every band has covered this song.
Hold on.
While you're looking it up, veterans of this podcast will know I hate cover songs that are on albums. The thing here, though, is that this is not on the album. This is just a cover of a song that they had in like the bonus tracks. So I forgive it on that merit. Do you have who it is?
Yeah, it's Richard Berry, who thankfully is dead. Thank my lucky stars that this fucking dude is dead. Fuck you, Richard, and fuck the Kingsmen. Oh man, I hope you were burning somewhere.
It's just so strange. Like, why does every band have to feel the need to cover this song? But like, I don't hate Louie Louie the song. Like, you know, his version of it, the original version, whatever. It's not my favorite song in the world, but it's the same way I feel about Rumble by Link Wray. It's like, okay, everyone heard Rumble back in the late 50s, 60s. Every British guitar player wanted to emulate that, and then we get the Led Zeppelin, we get the Beatles, we get all those guys, right? So I don't hate it on that merit. It's just such a, like, why did Motorhead feel the need to cover this song of all songs? Like, I just don't get it. I don't see the connection. I think it's I don't have a problem with the cover itself, but it's a cover versus a really good Motorhead song. So it's not even a competition, really.
So here's my problem with Louie Louie. Mike, I'm glad you said all those things. Here's my problem with Louie Louie. All right. When I was a young man, I got into hardcore music. When you get into hardcore music, you're going to discover a band called Black Flag. Maybe top 3 most important hardcore bands of like the first wave, like the founding fathers, right? Super influential. One day we will talk about Black Flag. That is not today. There are 5 different Black Flag recordings of Louie Louie. They have a record called Where is the 10.5 Inch, which is a live recording from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They ran out of songs to play, so they played Louie Louie 3 times, back to back, top to bottom. That's a joke. It's just old school punks. No lie, I would take the sound of like a kid crying. I would take the sound of a cheese grater being pulled across some brie before I ever had to hear da 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 da. It's and then the worst part is, right, because here's my personal bias. I'll tell you why. It's this and Mustang Sally, because it's like 6 notes. And you can just jam, man. You can just jam on Louie Louie for 20, 30 minutes. Filled in for a wedding band one time. We jammed on Louie Louie for 26 fucking minutes. You know what that's like, Mike? I went to hell. I walked through my own life to get back to Louie Louie. Because you just jam. It's, oh yeah, just da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. That's it. That's the whole song. Do that for 20 minutes. Yeah, man, here's an idea. Why don't you take a hacksaw to my foot? And it's the only thing that makes this version okay, is that I guaranteed you they were drunker than anybody has ever been in their life recording this.
Well, I know how to torture Cody in the future if I need to. Just play Louie Louie on repeat and lock you in a room.
It's it's like there's no variation of the covers.
Oh yeah, it's
because no one
the exact same.
No one ever like changes the tuning. It's all the same. If Meshuggah today recorded Louie Louie, it would be in standard, no screaming. It would just sound like Louie Louie. And somehow it's got this like oh my god, it's got this pyramid sense. Like, how did this happen? Can we just do something else? Besides, I just learned a fact looking at Louie Louie. Besides Yesterday, which is a gorgeous masterpiece of a song, a beautiful song, one of the greatest songs ever written, all minute and a half or whatever of Yesterday, that sweet young Paul McCartney wrote. This is the most covered song of all time. 5,000 different recorded versions of Louie Louie. And Mike, I bet you all 5,000 of them sound exactly the fucking same.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Jesus Christ. I'd rather be imprisoned wrongly than ever have to listen to this fucking song again, dude.
well, I tell you what, Cody, why don't we move on to the final matchup here, just so you can get off this train of vitriol towards Louie Louie.
It's just a bad song, man.
So we get Too Late, again, another bonus song versus The Hammer. Now, let me just say something about Too Late. The reason I chose Too Late is because, to me, I don't see why this song wasn't on the official track listing for Overkill. I think you easily could remove Metropolis and throw in Too Late, and it's great. I like Too Late a lot. I really like the chorus with the whole Too Late. Like, it's just fun, cool, awesome. Really great song. I'm surprised it's a bonus track. But Cody, I swear I've never heard The Hammer before this exercise, and I gotta tell you, like this, The Hammer, dude, is such a fucking cool song. Oh my god. So, first of all, what happened? What's that first thing in the first second? It sounds like a cat meowing at the beginning of The Hammer. Like
I don't know, dude. It's something, man.
I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why it's there, but the second The Hammer really starts, this is why Metallica loved Motorhead. This is why all the thrash bands cite Motorhead as like one of their biggest influences. This is literally Kill 'Em All Metallica, Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good Megadeth. It is Show No Mercy Slayer. It's all those guys. They heard this and they were like, let's do that, but give our own spin to it. And thus we get thrash music. The Hammer is like, among two albums with cool ass songs, The Hammer is like maybe the coolest, even though Damage Case is probably still the coolest song. God, The Hammer's so goddamn cool. That riff is perfect. Lemmy's vocals on it, just like the "Believe me, the hammer's gonna smash your dreams." Like, oh, dude, like everything. I love every single fiber of this song. Like, this is the song where I heard it doing this exercise. And I'm like, okay, this is the one where like this. I have not. Like, I intimately know Ace of Spades. I intimately know Overkill. I intimately know Damage Case. I did not intimately know The Hammer. So this is like the one where I'm like, okay, this is going in one of my playlists for sure. I don't know what the playlist, but like throw it somewhere. I'm listening to this song like maybe once a week at this point. That's how much I love this thing. And then we get that ending where he's like, believe me, the hammer's coming down. And like they all cut together and that's the end of Ace of Spades. Like that's the final moment. Just boom, everyone's out. It's perfect. It's flawless. I don't know, maybe my favorite song, even though Overkill is like my favorite song. Maybe The Hammer is now my new favorite Motorhead song. I love Too Late, but The Hammer's got to take it for sure.
Yeah, man. If I saw The Hammer live,
oh, dude, forget about it.
This is one of those moments where there's a really funny Acacia Strain video where before they play Car Bomb, Vinny goes Adult Swim. All the kids out of the fucking pool. Yeah. This is Adult Swim. And I'm sorry, you better get out of my way.
Yeah,
now.
And we've gone to two concert experiences together, Converging Between the Bear and Me, and you know me well enough to know that it takes like something special to get me in the pit. Which, of course, White Walls got me in the pit. If I was seeing Motorhead live in the early '80s and they pulled out The Hammer, I'm going to the pit. I don't care if I break an arm or a leg. I'm going in there because this is one of those songs where like I'll lose a limb to this song. That's how cool it is.
Yeah, this is sometimes, you know, with like doing exercises like this or whatever, you can miss the forest or the trees. And this is straight up just like no joke. Like I challenge you to write a better song than this. And they wrote this
a better thrash song, honestly.
They wrote this, 1980?
80, yeah. And then shortly in 81 and 82, that's where you get Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth. I mean, not Megadeth, obviously, but like they heard this and they were like, all right, bro, that's it. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, this is like the nexus point. This is almost exactly where the atom splits. And it's like, all right, kids. And then, you know, you get through all the Motorhead stuff, you get all the stuff that comes forward, but then it's like, in a really wonderful way, you look back at the reverence that people had for Motorhead. And Motorhead is the band that no one has anything bad to say about. I mean, look at the conversation we just had for the last hour. I don't think we said it's a bad song. besides Louie, which doesn't count.
Yeah.
The phrase
Metropolis is on the edge for me, but it's not bad.
Right. Whereas every other episode, I think we've probably said, but besides with special occasions, it's like, or exceptions, it's like, this is a bad song. No, this is the essence of it, and this will continue to be the essence of it. Go back to this, man. Make it fast, make it loud, and then, I don't know, make it louder. You know, that's it. Walk out on your own accord. That's what this is. This is in a really weird way freedom. You know, to go back from episode 1 all the way to now or whatever. This is freedom. You know.
Freedom.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, you beat me to it, damn it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where we over the last 30 episodes or whatever, Mike and I and guests have talked about so much music, an insane amount of music, whether it be, you know, artsy stuff like Rush or ding dong heavy shit like Converge, and every instance of it has been what, Mike? Freedom. This is freedom. And damn, dude, fucking lucky, because this shit couldn't have happened, and then we wouldn't have all of the cool shit.
Yeah.
We would just be stuck with Sting. And if I'm stuck with Sting, I'm killing myself.
Yeah, it'd be rough.
Yeah.
I did like your Mike and I and guests. Yeah, all two of them.
We've got variations of Jason. I think we've got Jason with 1 kid, Jason with 2 kids.
Yeah.
So that's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a very good way to summarize all of it. I just wanted to say that as far as the track by track is concerned, you heavily favored Ace of Spades with 9 as opposed to Overkill's 3. I was actually split down the middle, 6 and 6. So as far as which one I prefer more, even though I'm split down the middle, I think it's obvious. Ace of Spades is better produced. It's just a more iconic record. It's Motorhead at their peak form, really, that rare form, final form thing we like to talk about. But when Overkill hits, it fucking hits for me. Like Overkill, Damage Case, Limb from Limb, like those songs are so good. And I think what I might do after, this episode is actually create a playlist of like the 6 from Overkill and the 6 from Ace of Spades that I really love, and that be like my Motorhead project, where I'm like, okay, I really want to listen to Motorhead. I'm going to go to this curated thing I made, which is like the 6 and 6 that I love the most, because like the songs I really love here, I really love. And when you get to moments like the Hammer, I mean, it's like you said, without this moment, I don't know if we would have Metallica, Slayer, all the artists I like really love and had a huge impact on me. Motorhead never had a huge impact on me, but I can assuredly say that they are the reason bands like Metallica are the way they were, Slayer was the way they were. So many great bands in my life that I value highly are because of Motorhead.
Yeah. And that's it, man. I don't know. It's like, in a really weird way, sometimes you have to, like, you want to feel cool, listen to Motorhead. Don't tell anyone you're listening to Motorhead. But you want to feel good, listen to Motorhead. Buy a pair of fucking cowboy boots, listen to Motorhead. Act the fool. If this was 3 years ago, would have shot Zach Kane a message, and we would have went to Murphy's, and we would have caused a fucking fight. Like that's what Motorhead makes me want to do. But also, it just makes me want to act like it makes me feel like I'm the baddest motherfucker around. And it's like sometimes you need that. You listen to Rush to feel intelligent. You listen to.
Hey everyone, Mike here. For whatever reason, Cody's last 4-ish minutes of the recording did not transfer over. So it's lost to the void of the internet. I'm not entirely sure why that happened, but thankfully it was the last 4 minutes of the recording and not the last hour and 20 minutes of the recording. So, unfortunately, we do not have Cody's final remarks. What you're going to hear from now to the end is just my final remarks. It's not much, but just wanted to make it clear that's what happened. So anyway, here we go. If we find it's hard because Cody, you moved to Raleigh, but if we find ourselves in a situation where we're all at a bar with people like Zach Kane and our other friends, I'm putting Damage Case on the touch tunes and just watching what happens, because you and I will freak out and the rest of them will be like, what the hell are they doing? And you and I will be like throwing chairs and moshing. If there is an after party for my wedding, we'll probably go to a bar somewhere. I assume they will have touch tunes. Damage Case is being put on the touch tunes for sure. Well, Cody, season 2 in the books. That's all she wrote. Yeah, to think that we've had this many episodes, these many conversations, and I mean, I enjoyed every time. So we definitely hope to be, I don't think anything's going to like drastically change. We hope to be back at some point. I don't know when exactly. I can't promise a date, but we will be back at some point. More conversations, more stuff. We'll call it season 3, even though I don't know if that's warranted, but we will call it that. And Cody and I will continue the Album Fight Club. We'll make it happen. But I mean, until then, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye. See you on the flip side, homie.